Well, happened again. The Lions decided to embarrass everyone, and I love it. I love it to death. The Detroit Lions win 52-14 against the Tennessee Titans at home at Ford Field, and this game wasn't close. It really wasn't. This is the fourth game this season that the Lions have scored over 30 points. This is the third game this season the Lions have scored over 40, and it's the first time this season that they have scored over 50. And it's the first time since, I believe, 1977, I think it is, that they have scored 50 points in a game. Good offense. Good offense, right? All right, let's talk about this game. So, I don't think anyone expected the Titans to put up a fight, especially after trading DeAndre Hopkins to the Kansas City Chiefs just before the trade deadline, which we'll get to because we need to talk about that. And the Lions going in, what was there to fear? Other than Jameson Williams being gone because he's been suspended 2 games due to performance-enhancing drugs of some kind of substance use thing that he states he never took. I don't know. My conspiracy theory is that the NFL is trying to get rid of Jameson Williams and they don't like him. And you know what? Screw you guys. We like him. I can't wait till he's back, but that's okay. We're not gonna miss him too much right now because we're fine regardless. You know what I mean? So Lions win, they dominate, if anything. And I kind of just want to talk about the game because oh my God. You want to talk about ridiculousness? This game was full of it, including a trick play, which is the most hilarious thing ever. Jared Goff only threw for 85 yards. He threw 85 yards, 12 for 15 on completions, and had 3 touchdowns. 85 yards. Mason Rudolph on the other end for Tennessee threw for 266 yards. The run game, man. The run game. Sonic and Knuckles. Montgomery and Gibbs. Like, they are the best running back duo in the league. Both are top 5 running backs in the league, probably. Maybe top 8. But yeah, let's talk about the game. So, first quarter, right? Dave Montgomery. Fucking Knuckles him, or is he Sonic? I don't know which is which. I think he's Knuckles, right? Gets us on the board, 7-yard run. Jake Bates gets the field goal. We're up 7-0. Everything's looking cheeky, whatever it might be. But 2 minutes later... Not 2 minutes later. That's a lie. About 6 minutes later, probably. Mason Rudolph ends up getting an 11-yard run into the end zone, and Nick Folk, their kicker, gets the field goal. We're all tied up 7-7. And then Jahmyr Gibbs says, hey, if David could get a touchdown, so can I. And not 10 seconds later, on their first run, 70 yards, Jahmyr Gibbs just books it. Knuckles strikes first, and then Sonic hits after. 70-yard run into the end zone. Jake Bates gets the field goal. We are up 14-7 coming out of the first. And the immediate thing to look at is just how the offense is firing on every cylinder. It is insane how good this Lions offense is, from the receiving core, rushing, the offensive line, and of course Jared Goff. Like, it is astounding. It is the scariest thing I've seen in football in a very long time, when everyone on your offense is cooking like this. And it helps that we have a wall of death as our offensive line. Second quarter starts, Titans get on the board. Not a fan of that. We really need pass rush because they're just getting things from around different corners, and we need to figure that out. We can't let Mason Rudolph, we can't let any quarterback get mobile like that, right? Secondary, though, doing their job, and they are doing such a good job. Secondary, the linebacker core, the safeties. Brian Branch is, as usual, one of the best players in the game. But, like, oh my goodness. I love our defense, minus the few little things here and there. It's just... oh, boy. You gotta love it. You gotta love it, right? Second quarter, right into it, right? They get a kick. We receive. Here we go, right? On Detroit's 3rd yard. Dave Montgomery just loves pushing people around. You can't stop him. Find me someone that has been able to stop David Montgomery. You can't, right? Jared Goff doing what he can, throws a shotgun over to Sam Laporta, gets us for -1 yard, and that's not the greatest thing in the world, but you know what? You win some, you lose some. Sam Laporta has a better time afterwards. More on that later. Jared Goff gets an incompletion to Khalif Raymond. There's a penalty, there's a pass interference, there's 5 yards. It's like, okay, whatever, right? There's a face mask, I think it was. It's just like, fine, great, okay. Well, at least it was defensive, so it's good for us. Anyway, eventually, at the 8-yard, Jared Goff passes it short to Brock Wright. Remember Brock Wright? Gets a touchdown. Jake Bates gets the field goal. We are up 21-14 well into the second quarter, rather. I'm thinking hockey. Sorry. Ends up being an interception by Kirby Joseph. His 5th interception of the season. I fully believe Kirby Joseph should be considered for Defensive Player of the Year, if not Brian Branch. I know Brian Branch will be considered for Defensive Player of the Year, but Kirby Joseph should get a look at because he has been electric this season. 5 interceptions already on the season. Yeah, the Titans try getting cheeky. They have an offensive lineman report as eligible. They're trying to go for a cheeky little thing like we do. More on that later. And it ends up being intercepted by Kirby Joseph at the 45-yard line for Tennessee. And we end up scoring a touchdown almost right after. Goff gives the ball to David Montgomery. He runs it up for 3 yards. It's fine. We get whatever we can. There's an incomplete pass. Mind you, Jared Goff only had 3 incompletions this whole game. Remember that. Ends up passing it to Sam Laporta for 9 yards. Touchdown, but then there was a play call that got reversed. Boring. Don't like that. Passes it short to Laporta again for 8 yards instead. No touchdown. We don't like that. 1 yard to the end zone. We are in the red zone. Here we go. Jared Goff passes it short to Amon-Ra St. Brown for 1 yard. 1 whole yard. Touchdown Lions, 27. Jake Bates is the field goal, 28. The Titans ended up punting. And it just, it goes. It goes. Mason Rudolph tried with that team. Their receiving core isn't great. They try scrambling. It ends up that they're forced to punt. Detroit gets the ball back, and it's just nothing but the running backs. Like Jahmyr Gibbs was having a field day on this drive. Right? Jahmyr Gibbs runs, I believe it's a total of what? I have the number here, actually. 18 yards. So he runs for 18 yards. David Montgomery ends up only running for 1 because he gets brought back for -2 yards on a play just going into the end of the second quarter. But then the trick play happens. And this is, I know it's baffling. It's not, because this is just typical Detroit right now at this point. Jared Goff hands the ball over to David Montgomery. David Montgomery preps to look like he's running for the end zone. He ends up cocking his hand back, looks to throw, finds Sam Laporta 3 yards out into the end zone, tosses it. Laporta receives, touchdown Lions on another trick play, because of course we can. And now here we are. We are now 35-14 going into the end of the half. Tennessee ends up turning the ball over. It's fine, whatever, right? So Tennessee punts. Khalif Raymond receives the ball, and Khalif Raymond ends up booking it 90 yards end to end for another touchdown. Jake Bates gets the field goal. There we go. Now, mind you, big shout out, and this is why I was talking about Alex Anzalone earlier, was because our defense, our linebackers, our defense, like they were just working today, right? Like Mason Rudolph only gets stopped for 5 yards from a pass to, I can't remember who the receiver was. Anyway, but the stop by JRM, Mr. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, right? Levi gets a great stop for no gainage at on the second down. Third down, Alex Anzalone puts down Calvin Ridley for 4 yards. And then when Titans are forced to punt is when Khalif Raymond grabs that thing and just books it. And the replay of that is hilarious. Because once he finds that opening, he's gone. I'm amazed the Titans couldn't catch up with him. So now we're at 42-14. It's just constant back and forth. The Titans end up getting a fumble. We receive the ball on the fumble, and there's another touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs goes for a run, gets 9 yards. Goff ends up getting it to Sam Laporta. And then Khalif Raymond gets the pass from Jared Goff. 7 yards, he's in. Jake Bates, he's there. 49-14. Khalif Raymond, I believe, is one of the only few players in history. I don't think he's the first, but if he is, that's fucking awesome. to have a punt return touchdown and a receiving touchdown in the same game. I'm sure someone else has done it before, and I kind of want to find out who. As the name goes, Detroit ends up kicking for a field goal, 52 points. We have passed the 50 burger. We have acquired it. And it's just not close. At that point, all the starters get pulled. Hendon Hooker comes out. It's fine. You know, do whatever. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Tennessee, that you have to go through misery like this. Even after giving Za'Darius Smith all that money. And he's not even playing right now because he's hurt. Lord. So, Lions win. 6-1. Best start to the season ever. Dan Campbell is still the man. Ben Johnson is still the man. And if I'm Aaron Glenn right now, I'm going to Brad Holmes and saying we need a pass rusher now. Because this team is 99.9% unstoppable. We need the pass rush. Not having Derek Barnes and not having Aiden is showing. And we need to solve that. Now again, said this before, getting someone like Myles Garrett, Maxx Crosby, obviously, like, you know, might be ideal. We're a Super Bowl contending team now. This isn't just a playoff contending team. We're a Super Bowl contending team. If we're going to win one, we got to put the chips down, right? We got to... Yes, I know. People are going to say, oh, but the draft picks and Brad Holmes does so well cooking with his draft picks. It's okay if we give up some first rounders. It's fine. Because what's more important to you right now? A first round pick next year, where realistically we're going to pick like 27th, maybe 28th, or a Super Bowl? The answer's kind of obvious. So, yeah, that... Oh, God. Who would have thought, even with Jameson Williams not being here, even though he didn't even have a great game the game before he got suspended when he was playing against the Vikings. I love this team. Next week's the Green Bay Packers, which I believe is either at home or at Lambeau. Well, yeah, it has to be one of the two, right? The next couple weeks are not going to be fun. They're gonna it's gonna be nice afterwards, and then it's not gonna be great. The next 2 weeks we have the Green Bay Packers and the Houston Strouds, and they're both away games. So Packers, we're gonna be at Lambeau Field, and for the Texans, we're wherever the Texans play. But it's CJ Stroud, and I'm afraid of CJ Stroud. I'm just making sure my car hasn't been destroyed by the Strouds. Shout out Tom Grossi. The Packers are definitely going to be a challenge. They have one of the better defenses in the league, let alone the NFC North. But it'll be a fun challenge. Jordan Love's been starting to cook a little more, and that's been great. I don't know. I'm so excited for this because it'll be our next game against an NFC North rival. So we'll see. And then with the Texans, like, they've got one of the better offenses in the league. They haven't been great so far, but hey, you know what? I'm excited. Well, actually, that's a lie. They have been great. Aren't they like 6-2 or something? They're like one of the better teams in the AFC. They're like the second best team, I think, that isn't the Chiefs, because the Chiefs haven't lost yet. Yeah, it's the Packers next and then the Titans. Honestly, I think the Packers are going to give us a little bit of trouble. I think we can take on the Texans. I think we can take down the Texans, no problem. And we'll just have to go from there. Right, this team has been doing so well. Maybe one little thing we got to fix in pass rush now, but that's it. Brad Holmes really made sure to fix the glaring issues we had last season, and that was secondary. And he decided to bolster the secondary. By the way, Amik Robertson, holy shit, man. What a fucking player. What a great pickup for us. Like, him, Carlton Davis has been okay. You know, Branch obviously has been a monster for us. But this secondary team, the safety squad, yeah, it's just been good. Just really, really good. And now Brad Holmes has one last thing to tweak, and then we're fine. Okay, so there's updates to the Lions right now. Being from yesterday's game, obviously, we smacked the Titans, and I was talking about how, again, we need help on the pass rush to fill the void of Aiden Hutchinson. Earlier today, Dan Campbell had his post-game presser, his usual thing, with the media, and one of the reporters had asked him, hey, have you heard anything regarding, the trade front, and if there was a trade happening in the Lions organization that could be within the next 24 hours? And Dan Campbell kind of nonchalantly at first goes like, yeah, could be. And the follow-up question from the same reporter was, seriously, like, has Brad Holmes come to you with something of substance, anything, right? And Campbell's, like, starting to smile and has, like, a grin on his face and just starts jumping up and down. He's like, yeah, it could be. So, obviously, that means the Lions are working on something. Whether or not that means it's something major or someone, another pass rusher out there that might not be too expensive to try and acquire, we'll have to see. Obviously, I think every Detroit fan, including myself, is like, bring Maxx Crosby, like, just get him home. But I don't think he wants to leave Vegas, and I feel like it'll be a lot to get him out of Vegas. I know Arden Key, the linebacker from Tennessee, has been rumored to be a potential trade target for the Lions, which, like, would be fun. He actually didn't look bad in last night's game, but obviously they got smacked. He's like a solid pass rusher, and for the price, I don't think it would cost like an arm and a leg. So we'll have to see. And I know people are talking about how the Chiefs just added Ooch? How do you actually pronounce his last name? I have no idea. Anyway, but they added a defensive linebacker to their defense, and everyone's like, oh, see, this is what a Super Bowl winning team does. They go out and get their guys. What's Brad Holmes doing? He's being cheap. First of all, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just a dude on the internet that just talks about this stuff because I love sports and I love the Lions. Give Brad Holmes patience. Give Brad Holmes time, right? He has done well already. So far, every move he's made, maybe sounds like one. No, I don't even, like, find me a move that Brad Holmes has made since taking over as GM of the Lions that you call, like, a fluke, like a bum. Like, find me one. Except maybe, like, CJ Gardner-Johnson. Besides him. We can put that to the side. Yeah, because, like, look, the Chiefs get Josh Ooch, whatever, how you pronounce his last name. I'm sorry if you're somehow watching this. The trade deadline is still a few days away, so there's time for Brad Holmes to do something. Let's just not be picky about these things and give the man his space, let him figure it out, and I'm sure we'll get something good out of it. Whether it be Arden Key, maybe it's going to be a Myles Garrett-like, or, I don't know, maybe Maxx Crosby, maybe some other good pass rusher on another team. Like someone, right? Brad Holmes understands what the problem is in the team, and he's going to find a way to fix it. Look what he did to our secondary. He saw the glaring issues we had in secondary last season when we got, unfavorably beaten by the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game. And what did he do this offseason? He retooled the entire secondary camp. Like, the entire secondary room is so much better than it was last season. He can do the same, needing to fill the void of Aiden Hutchinson. It'll be fine. And I'm sure he's going to get it done before we have to play the Packers next week. Okay? Calm down. Plus, the trade deadline's the 5th, and we play the Packers on the 3rd. So, even in the event that, if let's say we beat the Packers, we probably will. We beat the Packers, and defense is still looking a little iffy. Brad Holmes still has time to do things. It's like, 24, 48 hours, not a lot of time. But earlier is probably better, and I'm sure they're working on something. I'm also sure that by the time I finish recording this video, edit it, and then upload the rest of this, something will have happened. We'll see. But until then, this has been the Rashid Report. My name is Yusuf Rashid. We're restoring the roar, baby. The Lions are going. They're going to the Super Bowl, I hope to God. But, yeah, Packers are next week, so here goes nothing.